That was game number 2 between DRX versus Gen.G, and Gen.G with a powerful performance, they evened out the series, and Gen.G went with a brownie comp. Braum and Sejuani. Gen.G had a lot of CC, and also they had a lot of priority onto the side lane with Twisted Fate and Camille. And DRX, they had Seth and Karma. Karma is a really good pick when the teams are grouped up. And Chovy took Ghost on Seth, however, maybe Teleport could have been a better choice for Seth in terms of macro and rotation. Well, after knowing the whole result of the game, we can analyze some of the bad choices that were made by the losing team, but at the same time, Seth was indeed doing a huge work, absorbing so much aggro in the mid lane, and also having a very clutch fight by himself. It was almost impossible for DRX to follow the side lane priority on the side of Gen.G, so DRX, they had to focus on the objectives and keep calling them in for fights. Gen.G had a very incredible and lucky steals onto the objectives, so they had more space to focus on the side lane. The game was going back and forth all throughout the game, and let's take a look at the top lane fight at the 9-minute mark of the game. Right before this moment, Karma fell to the engage coming out from Ashe. And some people might think that DRX was overextending. This was a 3 versus 5 fight. And at the beginning of this fight, they had even gold, but we can see that Echo is going for a counter jungling, and Xayah is also farming so much gold. So if DRX can manage to minimize their loss here, actually as a whole, DRX was keeping their lead in terms of the global gold. Well, if DRX rotated to other side of the map, Gen.G also could gain a lot more winning trades in this fight, but well, DRX was really smart controlling the rotation of the players at this point of the game. And at the end of this fight, two teams had even amount of gold. And let's move on to the second highlight of the game. We could see how aggressive Gen.G is in the summer splits. Camille was down at this point. So they called in Twisted Fate on the left side of the map. As DRX saw Twisted Fate, they were retreating on the right hand side of the map, looking for some of the skirmish wins. It's really impressive how Ashe can zone out 3 players single-handedly, and then Rascal rejoined this fight with his teleport on the opposite side from Twisted Fate. DRX managed to retreat. Some of the players managed to retreat from that fight, but in the end, Gen.G picked up a lot of kills in order to punish DRX players overextending to raise that turret. As a tank champion, it is not easy to steal away an objective up against an aggressive pick like Echo, so it was really incredible seeing Clint showing a lot of smite fight victories. It's time to check out the player of the game on the side of Gen.G. Midori and Quan had a consensus on this, and Clint picked up the POG on Sejuani. The Dragon still was the key point. Instead of looking at the contribution for fights or skirmishes, well, Rascal and other players were also doing a lot of work. I mean, all 5 Gen.G players were doing their role perfectly, but all the smite fight victories was so critical. And we had so much CC on the side of Gen.G. But in this game, Gragas didn't find any value of the pick itself. Played picked up 9 votes out of 12, and we can also see that Rascal got a lot of recognition as well, playing Camille as the side lane champion. It's time to move on to game number 3, the decider game between DRX and Gen.G.
Well, you know what, Valdez, 1 out of 5 ain't bad. You know?
Yeah, you know, at least I got 1.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get 2.
Exactly.
We'll see. I have another chance, so there's that. Really hope I can I can shore it up a little bit, but really it is all about this last game. This is going to be pretty insane. I think if DRX just play kind of a normal comp instead of trying to, you know, flex the League of Legends game into something else, I think they'll just have a better time of it. Also, they gave away TF Camille, which I think is always a mistake on top of everything, so...
I mean, it was
the draft did play into it a lot.
Yeah, the bans were very interesting, right? Like, they were banning Kalista, Volibear, Ezreal on red side, which are often bans that we see reserved for the blue side. And speaking of blue, that's where DRX are going to reside now. So far, blue side has won every game, and Camille has won every game. So whether that means Camille will receive a little bit more priority in this draft is yet to be known, as DRX taking their time with this first ban. Will be the Kalista.
Bard is just too good now. He's a perma ban.
Yeah, your boy.
I'm a fan of it. The Bard analyst here is a big fan of that. He just offers too much now, and I think a lot of teams are recognizing it and taking him away. We're not just in boring tank meta anymore, even though we kind of were in that second game. Pantheon here as well. They're really trying to focus onto the bot lane of Gen.G. Take away all of those potential picks that are very scary. Will we see, you know, remember Galio that was banned? Remember all the scary stuff that we did see in the last one?
Yeah, I mean, Twisted Fate, Camille, I mean, are they going to get looked at here?
Yeah.
Do DRX just ask Gen.G whether they can play TF this time around? Will it be Karma banned on the side of DRX just to make sure that that isn't going to be an option? And I think that this was a good choice. Might now mean that Gen.G are going to be priced into banning TF, because what they can get in return just may not be good enough, right? 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
See where they go for. I mean, it might be that BDD has something planned, right? Like maybe he's been practicing his Silas, but Set is going to be banned away from Chovy. I know technically there are multiple people on DRX that can play it, but this is a Chovy ban.
I think you just have to go, I mean, TF here, yeah. Right? I don't think there's any merit to taking much else.
Yeah, I started writing it in and then was like, wait, why aren't we insta-locking it? I'm very confused.
I guess there was some thought. Obviously, a lot of AD carries are available. And take a look at this, Camille. They say we're not going to give you the duo. It's just too strong, and Camille is just too strong alone. Been saying it now for quite a while, and we're finally seeing it here in this series. Priority just goes up and up and up, especially when you want to deny it from the Twisted Fate. And they're going to go for Ashe again. So Ruler picking up his first loss, but then another win on top of that on his Ashe. He'll be playing 3 games of that in a row.
Yeah, we'll see where Deft is going to go. His Ezreal is well and truly available, but it looked a little bit lackluster, to be honest, in the first game, as we might just have the Lovers Duo locked in by DRX.
Is there any merit to Keria taking Galio away from Gen.G and throwing it, like, into the support role? Because it seems like such an obvious pick. It's so good against TF. It's really good with Camille and Ashe already. Obviously, Zoe is still available if he really wanted to try to pop off on that again, but it just seems like in this draft, especially if we just take the names away, Galio feels like the most obvious pick.
And BDD is a fantastic Galio player, has been for a really long time, but he's also a really good Azir player. And,
I don't know. This is rough.
Yeah, right? Like, it was banned in Game 1 by DRX. This time slips through the draft as there were other priorities, namely the Karma. So BDD is going to take the Azir for himself. I do agree with you. I think that Galio did make a lot of sense comp-wise.
Yeah, like if we just take the names away and it's not BDD, if it's just like your average laner, I think we would see Galio there almost all the time. But BDD's so good on the Azir. Obviously, Azir has... those 3 champions alone are really scary when the game goes along. It's going to be crazy what they're going to be able to do. The question is, can they get there?
Yeah, and actually... I think Braum would have been a really good pick. I know this is something that LS is quite upset about. Doesn't really like Braum being prioritized, but it just ruins Xayah. She has an awful time against that champion. She can't get Feathers thrown. It's so annoying. You can put that wall up the opposite direction after the Feather Storm as well if your reaction time isn't quite on point. And so Tahm Kench going to be banned away. That is going to be the support choice into the TF. And then support choice into the Xayah should be pretty comfortably banned second as Wukong. The final ban here from Gen.G. Be very surprised if it wasn't a Braum ban. And
Morgana.
Okay.
Well, Morgana's really good into Rakan, I guess, so it kind of like takes some of the power away from the other side. But the Braum, as you mentioned, is
like the
pretty
most obvious pick here.
I mean, Life just played it as well.
Yeah.
It looked really good against the Xayah, so I don't see any reason why you wouldn't go for this. It's an amazing lane alongside of Ashe, which we see all the time. And it's part of the reason why Braum is coming back to 50% win rate after he was just with random selections. Now, what are going to be the picks here for the top and jungle of DRX? They're going up against Camille. Now, I do not want to see Lee Sin Renekton.
Sejuani and...
Don't want to see it. Okay,
no,
all right.
Okay, that's all right.
I can get behind that.
Do we pick away the Freljordian from the extreme CC combo that is Ashe, Braum, and Sejuani? That is my question.
Might not be a bad idea.
Or pick something that makes picking Sejuani much harder.
Best he can do is Lee Sin, Alice. Best he can do. We are going to see Lee Sin here. It is Pyosik, and it is Lee Sin in the LCK. We love him, and we hate him.
Yes, we do.
We have a love-hate relationship with Lee Sin.
Very close to 50% win rate at the moment is Mr. Lee Sin, but is shying a little bit above it. So technically, not awful. This was the most obvious last pick ever, as Clit is going to go into the Sejuani once again. So Gen.G, look, honestly, they've won the draft. But TF is able to meld the field of battle, and this time maybe Deft will have a little bit more help from the rest of his team. And you have to remember that this is Chovy on the TF, so he should be able to get around this map, help out the rest of his team, and take some control. And Gen.G's comp does work relatively slowly, right?
It does, and that's really the key. You're getting to the essence of it there. DRX have a comp already that can really just get in your face, be very aggressive, throw caution to the wind, and say we're gonna make plays, we're gonna be fast and furious, whereas Gen.G want to do the exact opposite of that. So really, I think it's going to be about which team can force the other team to play their style of game and to their composition strengths. I think that DRX need to get ahead early. Otherwise, the Rakan is going to do nothing. He's just going to melt, right? The Lee Sin is going to do nothing. Kennen ultimate engages are going to have a lot less value from behind. At least they're on blue side with the Kennen, which is good to see. And over here, it's like if they can slow the game down and get to 25 minutes, I can't really see a world where this kind of crazy composition can lose.
Well, yeah, like they have AoE CC from like everyone. It's just silly.
Yeah.
The amount of teamfight control that Gen.G has if they get a front-to-back teamfight is ludicrous. But DRX do have options to try and make that more difficult. Their pick potential certainly through the roof. Not to mention having the Destiny Gate combo themselves this time around. Ruler cantering out onto Summoner's Rift here for game number 3. DRX versus Gen.G. DRX found a victory in game number 1 on the blue side. Gen.G returned that in kind, but Camille was also 100% win rate for the rest of this series. So one of those things is going to have to lose. We'll see which one it is going to be. Having a crab rave there in the mid lane, and BDD wants none of it.
Angry bee.
I love the Angry Bee. I think it's adorable.
Angry BDD.
Hey.
He just got the win, though, on the TF.
Maybe he's lying. He
Played
was
it
not
really
actually
nicely.
angry.
He's just fooling around there in the middle. And the Azir, you know, we were talking about how Galio would have, you know, been kind of the cookie cutter response here. The Azir also really good in the lane up against the TF, so he's got that going for him. And it is more of a lane-focused pick, obviously, for BDD. So I think it's obvious to all of us that BDD has been having a fantastic performance today, even if he wasn't the main actor, let's say, of games 1 and 2. He wasn't the guy we were always focusing on.
Yeah, I mean, in game 1, the
he's
Gen.G, he absolutely was, right?
He's playing insanely right now.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the Azir pick.
I feel so blessed, right? Like, we have 3 mid laners that are performing outstandingly well here in the
we're
LCK.
sinning.
It is pretty nutty. As yeah, speaking of nutty, Pioshik looking for the gank onto BDD at level 1. And Chovy just going to offer up most of his health bar there in the attempt to bait BDD forward. BDD steps up. There's the safeguard, and yeah, look, wouldn't call it successful, but
no.
Sometimes it's the thought that counts. That's what my mum always said.
Well, the thought and the idea is that now that that didn't work, he's behind 2 camps.
Oh dear, Grand Entrance working out here. Cleanse utilized as Ruler. He's getting taken down very, very low. Def trying to walk on forward. And no summoners out from Gen.G, but no cleanse now onto Def.
Yeah, nice little trade down here in the bottom side. You could see that Life this time around did go for the Unsealed Spellbook up against a ranged support where he's going to have a lot less time of just auto-attacking. Pretty much none at all in this lane unless they can hard engage like they did there. Taking a look at some of the numbers once again. Rascal slowly building up his Camille win rates.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good about that one.
Feels like a lot of our Camille's here in the LCK have pretty decent win rates. As Chovy taken down extraordinarily low here by BDD. Flash forward. Oh, the follow flash wasn't good. That's.
He was getting excited. He must be a KT fan. I don't know what that was about. I mean, you had the lane pushing into you. You had just taken a huge win.
Doran's going to miss it, but Lightning Rush comes in. That's a teleport from Chovy into the top lane. He's tanking up the turret. The Doran does get that last auto as Pioshik comes in with a safeguard. There's a lot of summoner spells invested, but First Blood does go over to DRX.
Yeah, and for some reason it feels like BDD, he just wasted both of his summoners, kind of. He's going to eat some of this wave, obviously, but the wave in the mid lane was pushy. He could have just sat there, walked back in the lane, and been so far ahead, but instead, trying to spare his teammate from some embarrassment, tries to get up there, not able to get up there in time, and a very risky dive does pay off for DRX, which was very excellently executed.
Yeah, Chovy not going to be perturbed. He's going to shove this wave in, and BDD did have a cannon wave that was knocking on his front door, so that tanks up the turret for the majority of the time. So BDD does get him, Chovy does get himself a cheeky little extra back. And Null Magic Mantle now completed, going towards those Merc Treads as item number 1. As Deft and Kerry are now down towards the bottom side. Have a cull for themselves. Ruler just has double longsword. Klid making his way in. As Pioshik is in the area, but is unspotted by all of the vision around for DRX. And yeah, Life moving forward gives it away quite a lot. And they do not have the wave in the right position. So the Dragon gets a little bit upset as Sejuani makes her way over, but no answer to that First Blood just yet here from Gen.G either. So yeah, all comfy for DRX bottom side. And the Lee Sin continuing to try and find some advantages around this map. Has gone back, got himself double longswords. As we'll have a look at this one more time. It was an unorthodox attempt. As, yeah, Doran missing that shuriken was a whoopsie.
You can see what they're going for here. Chovy from base is calling. He's saying, okay, I can come in. I have TP. I have yellow card. We can get on top of him as now he's dead.
Yeah, he's real dead.
Wow.
Yeah, swept. Twice.
Did you hear him? I don't think I've heard that close up just like that here on a cast.
No.
pretty fun. But nice setup there, actually, by Rascal to get in with the stun. Chovy didn't have any summoners on the play, so he basically just disappeared as a TF does, which is part of the reason why the Azir can be quite fun into the TF.
Yep, Ruler in life, just, well, Ruler mostly, bullying DRX around here on the bottom side, buying cleared as much space as possible. And he's going to be able to take this first dragon of the game. DRX still ahead by a little bit of gold, and that's mostly on the top side of the map as Rascal's being abused up here. BDD, okay, in goes the TF despite the fact that he knew that BDD was there. Interesting. We'll see whether the Q lands as BDD goes for a little bit of a wander. Just trying to zone them away from as much of this farm as possible. And somehow that Q landed. Thought that minion was ahead as a plate being nicked up here as we have a look on the bottom side and turret shots being taken, but DRX certainly at the losing end of this situation. Look at Gen.G just standing all the way up in the enemy minion wave, trying to get themselves the best back possible. Cleared over here. And Carrier, oh, he has to face check.
What is
oh,
he? What?
No, he was just standing there. Battle Dance comes in, Permafrost is down. That auto attack from Ruler came out of nowhere as Doran teleported bottom lane in a very weird way. So I feel like maybe the players are suffering from a little bit of fatigue at this point. Whoa. Arrow.
What was that even going to achieve?
It's just circling room.
I guess he's trying to stop the back. And that's pretty nice, you know. They're not really going to be going for plays onto Cleanse, Flash, Xayah, who's going to be level 6, right? So might as well just use it to stop a back and get more value for Rascal, who's freezing up at the top side and desperately needs to come back. So I don't mind it at all.
Okay.
Let's go for it. I'll push him. And Nisa.
Yeah. Even span his mouse around in celebration. I liked it. As, yeah, Carrier just... He almost got into the brush.
He was hiding. Or, yeah, maybe it was too thick of brush. He couldn't quite fit in there.
Maybe.
He's been having too much ice cream recently. And, yeah, that was definitely pretty confusing. Maybe he was waiting for the ward cooldown over the wall. Like, I'm trying to think of reasons for what that was. But either way, it was just, you know, they should have expected, because the Sejuani was not visible top, that there was a chance that she could be down towards the bottom side. And he wanted to get a ward down, but wasn't expecting him there on that time. So good trade back from Gen.G. Obviously, their Camille is suffering a little bit. But again, at the end of the day, we mentioned the scaling, the sheer amount of power in the late game that Gen.G's composition has. And at 9 minutes, they're basically even, and they have the first Drake. It's not half bad, after all.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly what Gen.G won. Pureshik unable to get anything done whatsoever. Klid moving towards his Cinderhulk pretty comfortably as DRX looking to stop Gen.G from taking Shelly. Carrier is in position right now. Rascal going to pick up the bottom wave as he does have teleport available. This is a way that you can maximize your gold gain whilst trying to take a Herald. The Ashe can also rotate over. Enchanted Crystal Arrow available. But Gen.G, they decided to give up on Shelly for the minute. Doran going to have to play very, very carefully. No flash in hand. It's BDD dealing with this wave that's been pushed forward. And Chovy has Destiny, so he can go back home, put together an item or two, and see whether he can come back. Fight this one out. Has himself a Ruby Crystal and a Blasting one now, as many battle stats as far as the makings of a Rod of Ages are concerned that he could put together at the time. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough here for DRX, and they do move away from Shelly. So Gen.G are just taking absolutely everything. Despite the fact that farm, especially topside, is in favor of DRX, I think the gold is going to swing back.
Yeah, I mean, Gen.G very comfortably taking objectives. Like, there would be chances for them to, you know, if DRX were being a little bit more aggressive with their composition, they maybe could have won some team fights and then taken objectives. But the fact that DRX are just like, yeah, sure, you can have it, is a little bit worrying. I think that they should be putting on a little bit more pressure and making some more map plays. You don't really want the Destiny Gate you know, just available and off cooldown for minutes at a time, right? You're looking to make plays, maybe dive, and get some areas of the map into your own control. But the fact that that isn't happening, again, is a little bit scary for DRX. They do have the Infernal Drake coming up here in 15 seconds. We'll have to see who's really going to set up for that as Chovy's walking top lane, but Rascal is not there yet.
Yep, one plate was taken, as we witnessed earlier. As the teleport is back to the mid lane, Camille going to turn up top without actually using hers. Gen.G are going to start this Drake off basically as it spawns. Full information over here for DRX, but Kyoshik going to be very late to this party. Chovy pushes out mid. We'll see whether Destiny's actually going to be popped here. And look, the answer's no. This is just going to be a free dragon going over to Gen.G. And DRX got to wake up.
Yeah, where are they? Like, I can see, yes, Rascal has TP, Doran doesn't. They could potentially make it into a 5v4, but with Destiny Gate, you can make a quick 4v4 and look to pick someone off, or maybe try to make a pick in the top lane at least, right? You know, go for some kind of dive, zone the Camille away, get her away from some farm. And she is getting punished a bit just by the cannon. Maybe Gen.G are assuming that that's what DRX are trying to do, but it's not really happening. Nothing is really happening on the side of DRX.
Clid moving down towards the bottom side, and there is Shelly. She's going to give all of her gold to Ruler and to Clid.
And Ruler's already 121 CS, 122. He's pretty insane. Now Rascal is kind of just like, all I need to do is survive. I just need to not get dove, and I should be okay. Look at this. It's like, yeah, okay.
It's
good job, guys.
Don't worry. Well, Kyoshik going to be spotted here by Rascal, who's yeah, he's got a thumb. He's got 3 of them apparently. And Doran is going to make sure that he misses this entire minion wave. And zoned out at CS as well. You can see level 10 to level 9. But bottom side of the map, I mean, the thing is being returned in kind in a lot of ways. So it's still not the end of the world. Not great news, absolutely, but okay, Rule is in trouble. He does not have cleanse, as the heal is going to be used just to try and catch up, and Ruler is using his flash, gets himself away. Arrow on cooldown as well, but not really too much invested here by DRX. Deft will be able to just push this wave further forward. Blade of the Ruin King done here by Ruler. Does have his boots as well, and just wants his QSS as soon as he possibly can. And that's a Slicing Maelstrom. Kyoshik trying to find this one. Great stun, and flash has to be used there by Rascal to get himself out of the way. A lot of plates taken by Doran. He's going to go back home and put together a proto belt.
So finally they're doing stuff, right? They're looking for plays. They find Ruler, they get his flash. Kyoshik goes to the top side. They're able to get Rascal's flash. But nothing's really sticking on top of it. I think that giving away the Rift Herald and both Drakes was really confusing. I know DRX don't really play around these early objectives too much, but now that it's a Cloud Soul, you're like, okay, if we really want to turn on the Dragons now, it's not going to give us that much value. Obviously, TF can be flying around the map a little bit, but it's better for ultimates that can potentially be used twice in a team fight. That does go long, especially up against Gen.G's team fighting composition. I wonder if Kennen TF is going to have the same amount of crazy split pushing potential that Camille TF does. I think the obvious answer is no, but you know, can they make a play happen with some smoke and mirrors as the game comes along? Because with every minute that ticks by, the team fight will be in favor of Gen.G unless we have some incredible flank ultimates from Doran. And assuming that he just gets normal ones, Gen.G will be winning most of these team fights. So they might just have to resort to some, you know, other tactics.
Yeah, I think so too. Doran looks like he's going towards a Morellonomicon as his second item as well. So the Zhonya's is going to be very late. He will need that. Otherwise, he's just going to get Emperor's Divided out of the fight. So team fights for the Kennen seem to be a few items away. Of course, stopwatch can be built in the interim. It's only going to be for a one-use scenario. It's Chovy back in the mid lane. Certainly able to clear out minion waves on demand. And him and BDD farming it about as evenly as you can. BDD, in fact, on the bottom side of the map, as we've got a bit of a 1-3-1 going on. Just can't seem to stop.
Yeah. And after the first couple of games, especially the first one, I feel like slowly the series has been slowing down, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And DRX have Athletic get to this position. They're definitely going to make a case to take down Shirley and probably throw it top lane, try to take down one of these turrets so that they can try to get a little bit of an edge in gold, I would imagine. The mid-tier one is getting close to that area where you might want to throw it there and take down mid-tier one. Not sure
I think that's
they'll
the
be
most
able to.
important, right? If you got a TF composition, taking mid-turret becomes so much more valuable. Shirley is going to fall, and we'll see where Pioshik does decide to put it down. Deft, just thinking about standing up against Rascal here to pick up this minion wave. He'll do so quite easily. Blazecaller helping him out there. Oh, misses the cannon. That was whoopsie.
Wow.
Gen.G are just freely given soul point. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they had, what 3 members top. Rascal has been playing the weak lane very well. He throws up another thumbs up. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. I don't care about your trying to gank me. I'm going to be fine. He doesn't have flash. He knows that he has to be extra careful, and that just gives him even more of a reason to step so far back and never be in danger. He's slowly scaling anyway. Yes, the cannon obviously is going to be ahead, probably half an item. But
it doesn't matter.
Is it going to matter when we hit 30 minutes and Camille has 3 items anyway?
Well, Clid going to come down and see whether he can punish the little lightning rat. Looks like they're just going to hide off to the side.
I think they're in there.
Going to deny us some vision. There we go. The prison pops over the wall as there's the slicing maelstrom. Doran flashing on top of BDD, but there's another member as life comes on in. Sometimes it comes at you fast as Doran is headed straight to the death chamber. Carrier moving back to the mid lane here. A lot of pings on that outer turret as Deft is going to be able to take a red buff for himself. Chovy does have Sheen complete. Shirley does eventually hop into mid lane. So the trade is for Pikachu for the outer turret in mid lane. And that's going to at least be the money trade for DRX, plus they will have a bit of extra control around the map.
Yeah, I think that's not so bad for DRX in terms of that. They trade Doran. I don't think Doran should have flashed. Obviously, he was trying to make the best of a kind of hard situation.
Second item, Void Staff.
Yeah, we have QSS already on the Ashe on top of it. As, yeah, pretty straightforward. You can see that Doran, he wanted to get over the wall, try to do that damage with the Q on the BDD, but I think with just better calculations, he should have known that, especially with the shield available, BDD wasn't really going to be going down. With Merc Treads, which is a really easy decision up against this team, you'll take a look and see that 4 members have it on the side of Gen.G.
I kind of want
very
Def to buy it.
One.
Because I think that Gen.G also have
well,
decent amount of
he got QSS instead. It's like the better version of Merc Treads. You know?
Not bad. Doran did a fair bit of damage there, but it wasn't enough. There were, of course, more people to deal damage to in that instance. Pioshik has done very little this game, and he's Lee Sin. His job is to do stuff before 20 minutes. He currently has 10 seconds, and I don't think it's going to be enough time. And in that amount of time, Baron's going to be available as well. We'll see whether they're going to be fighting around that one. 2 minutes on Cloud Soul for Gen.G. Cloud Soul denial for DRX if they're actually able to. Lich Bane is complete here for Chovy. I don't know, Valdez. I'm really worried for DRX. I just don't know what their comp is going to be able to accomplish that Gen.G can't do way better in later stages of this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a moment here where if you can get the QSS down off of Ruler and then get backline access and remove him, that maybe they can win some kind of team fight there. But then on top of that, what are you really getting? They would need to get Baron, I think, off of a team fight like that to really make a big stand and say, like, hey, we're in the lead now. If it's just the Cloud Drake and they pick off one person, or maybe Gen.G just give it away, right? It's just one Cloud Drake, who cares? they could even threaten the Baron and maybe look for an advantageous fight from that position around the Baron. But for now, DRX are just pushing on in, and Pyosik is able to steal a little Bambi there.
Yep, little puppy going to be taken. Lid gets the big one, though, so that's the score. Nailing it. Big health bar here on the Sejuani, going for the Warmogs as the second big item choice.
And the split pushing of Camille has slowly been coming into play here. You can see that she's actually going up against Chovy, not up against Doran, who is in the bottom side. Nobody's actually going to be down there to catch the wave unless BDD wants to go down there. But for now, it looks like they're really just trying to clear vision around the Baron and maybe just let the bottom side of the map go for now.
Yeah, looking for a potential dive onto Chovy, and Chovy uses the Destiny just to make sure that he's not going to get taken down here. Actually decides to gate his way out towards this mid lane. You can see they really want to deny Gen.G from getting this outer turret mid lane, and also for anything else around this map. Currently, Gen.G have taken the bottom lane outer turret, and Camille's getting to work on the top one, but it's pretty healthy. I mean, this is Camille, so she'll probably eat through it within a couple of seconds. And big pings onto this inner turret, as now Pyosik should be able to lock down the Cloud Drake. But, I mean, Gen.G don't care about Cloud Soul. Really? I mean, yes, they can press ultimate and go fast, but yeah. I mean, ultimately, one Cloud Drake means not a whole lot. So they do guarantee vision around the Baron. And they get themselves the outer turret in the top lane, and now they're just lying in wait because they know that DRX has to face check. Yep. As Arrow's going to miss, as does the Prison. And look,
guys,
that wasn't the face check you were looking for. I think that's what Obi-Wan said.
Yeah, something like that. Rakanna used his Q into the bush that they had the ward in, but I suppose they thought he would just wait for another Q, and they wanted to try to pick him off really quickly. And just like that, DRX immediately going to take a ton of vision back. And they have taken a very small gold lead from here. They still do have 1-3-1. I suppose that Gen.G have a bit of it too with the Azir and teleport. So,
I mean, I think Gen.G's 1-3-1's better. I think Camille's just a better 1-3-1 champion, right? Like, she can do way more damage to turrets.
I think she needs, like, she's definitely better. I think she needs, like, to complete a second item maybe.
Yeah,
just to make sure that it's like
maybe not this game. Yeah,
100%.
You're right.
Like right now, I think that Kennen does have some value, but if we get like half an item or a full item, definitely, I think she's going to begin putting on the pain.
USS done actually for the Camille. Speaking of which, it's going to delay the Ravenous Hydra by just a little bit. A lot of magic damage available here and a lot of CC coming out of good old Rakan, even Xayah, and Twisted Fate. Not to mention Kennen. As the gold has, I feel like this whole series has been within 1,000 for like
pretty much
the entire time.
And nothing has really happened for like the last 5 minutes either. We've just been chilling. And I suppose waiting for Ashe, Azir, Camille to scale. Gen.G are fine. They're like, yeah, I mean, okay.
Pyosik, okay, just does it around the world there for a moment. Lands the Q onto the Brambleback as the rest of his team do make their way over. They get the reset. A lot of extra movement speed as the Shirelias gets them towards Klid, who throws out the Prison. Pyosik hit by the arrow as well. Teleport in here on the backside of the fight, and Rascal decides that he doesn't want to go for it. Sundisk set up here in the mid lane to act as a makeshift turret for the moment, but I don't know how. But DRX did manage to get out without any casualties.
Yeah, they're able to get out, and you can see now they're going to try to force the Baron. They want to force a fight here, but double TP available for Gen.G, who are ready and willing to take a fight.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a smite off either in this game, because last game, Klid had all of them. So outer turret now going to be on the minds of Gen.G, a blue buff to be secured by Chovy in trade for that. It's absolutely not what you want, and now Carrier backing on a ward. Going to get punished as Rascal's just pushing on the bottom side. And this is where the game falls apart for DRX, right? Like, Gen.G are just able to do way more around the map.
Oh, he's on vision.
Yeah, he just caught out of position. Okay, that's a decent stopwatch, and Chovy going to get out for now. Uses everything to do so, but still does so.
Yeah, he's got TP though. We'll see if maybe they can try to get back into this one. There is that one ward behind the pit. But it doesn't look like Gen.G want to go for it just yet. I feel like when we've already been playing this safe up until this moment, no reason to try to throw it away by getting a Baron stolen or anything like that. They have a lot of Baron damage, but
that would.
Bit by bit.
That would.
Yep. And they tried to get it all together, but there was that one little lapse in the CC where Chovy was able to flash away.
Yep. Liked it. Back to live, some more farming in this mid lane. We are tied up entirely, but Gen.G getting more stats from the Ocean and the Infernal Dragon. So that's going to be putting them ahead, at least statistically. Item efficiency, though, out of DRX right now is gigantic. We are one more recipe completion from Deft. I guess Crit Cloak as well. But then he'll have his 3 items he's looking for. But there's a Death Cap Void Staff on this cannon. That's a lot of damage. He needs Leandri's, and then we're real happy with how this cannon's positioned in this game. And he's going for as much backline damage as he can possibly get. And it's going to be pretty effective. There's a teleport into the mid lane. Chovy going to turn up. See what he can do. Is they did notice the back there of Ruler, who does have teleport. He's going to go back to the mid inner turret.
Yeah, we're just sitting, waiting. You can see Clid going to go in and clear out some of that vision. The Cloud Drake being taken down by Pyoshik. And Gen.G don't really care about that anymore. Their only real objective is the Baron.
Well, they're going to get onto it right here as live. Going to get taken down very, very low. Deft avoiding the Winter's Bite is now Chovy lying in wait. Destiny has been popped, and he's gated towards this Baron.
Great ward there by Keria. Spots Rascal coming in from the side. And they're actually going to back away. Gen.G don't want to take any risks. And now DRX have a little window here.
I love this gambit that they're playing, no pun intended, with the Twist of Fate in the game. Just saying, like, look, guys, you guys can keep playing the do-si-do around the Baron, but we're going to take your base. As inner turret is going to be taken there in the mid lane. Rascal going to trade in kind attemptedly, but look at all of the pings, literally everywhere on this map, as Rascal now going to have to try to run. Pyoshik has found Clid, who gets stunned up by Chovy, who does not have flash, remember. He's got a heal, trying to move out of the way, moves out of the way of everything, as I say it. Now Pyoshik finding a Q. BDD with his Sand Soldiers at the ready. They're getting corralled. And Chovy this time walks right into the prison. But the grand entrance is fantastic. BDD, Zonya's right at the last second, but Doran's going to take him down. The slicing Maelstrom is extraordinary before he does fall. Of course, remember, he's just a nuclear explosion cannon build. Doesn't have any Zonyas or anything like that, but DRX may have just done enough damage to try and take this one down. Ruler throwing a lot of volleys in this area. Rascal does have teleport.
They're going to try for it.
Yeah, this is real scary. Hextech Ultimatum not available. Deft in there. Keria wants to be able to CC this Camille. The Baron's down extraordinarily low. They knock up Ruler. He's going to go down. Blade Caller going to secure Rascal. Running around the back of the pit. He goes golden. As now DRX trying their very best to get in here and take down the Baron. The health bars are excruciatingly low as Rascal will be taken and DRX claim the Baron with 4 still alive.
Man, Keria just went in there in those 2 fights and said, get over here, I'm going to win this game for my team. You can see Chovy starts it off with some happy feet. He's like, you're not going to hit me with any CC unless it's targeted. He dodges every single thing, and originally it's like, oh, they caught Chovy. But then look at this, the charm onto BDD into the immediate knockup, and that is why they're able to win the team fight. He even charms up Rascal in the back. He takes away so much of what they have out of their team fight potential as a team from Gen.G. And just like that, the Rakan by himself is able to do it. And here the 2v1, or the 2v4 rather. Another great engage by Keria, just shuts him down with the flash, getting in there with the knockup.
Oh,
and
God.
Weren't able to do it.
They corralled him like a moose. In the back of the pit, there's nothing he could do whatsoever. The purple worm going to be taken here by DRX. And now moving towards this inner turret on the bottom side of the map. And what you were saying before about DRX's comp being able to split push, well, with the Baron, every comp's a split push comp.
Yeah. Look at Rascal. He doesn't have TP, but he's like, I gotta get over here. I gotta split push.
Well, he doesn't do anything in a siege, right? Like,
yeah.
That's sort of the thing that you have to accept with these types of compositions.
He only does okay if it's like a really, well, if it's a team fight that's really broken up and he can isolate a couple of members, that's really when he can have any value outside of split pushing. So you can see that DRX kind of baited them into their territory, and then we see the power of Rakan if you are literally on perfect timing with all of his abilities. And maybe BDD just went too straightforward. You know, he like took it for granted. He's like, oh, we stunned the TF. I guess I can just come in here and sweep 3 people easy. But perhaps if he had taken a different angle, it would have been a little bit more covert the way he was able to get on in there, and Keria wouldn't have been able to respond as quickly. Either way, it's just DRX outplaying them in the team fight and setting everything up for Kennen as well. It was really beautiful to see.
And your boy Keria having one hell of a game. By the way, his debut Rakan game is this one. So that's 2 unique champions played so far this series.
Okay.
Out of the 3 games. Not bad. And may pick up a player of the game, much to many Chovy fans' detriment.
Well, you know who I'm voting for.
Yeah, Chovy, 100%. Right?
Well, maybe if it was LS. You can see that DRX, they're just using this Baron down to the last second. Even using the last second to almost all of them get the empowered recall, except Doran.
Yeah, Doran a little bit off on that timing as Rascal down here will be able to take him in a turret.
Yeah, he almost got arrowed as he was backing too, so he had to run all the way down the lane at the same time. And now he's actually going to stay. It's like, well, maybe I can get some value out of staying now.
Ooh, there's the Destiny, as OK has to be very careful. Rascal immediately QSS's the gold card, so not going to be caught out of position here. And Chovy did have a Zhonya's, so wasn't under too much threat of dying. But Def now has 4 items, so the Xayah, who has been very quietly doing basically nothing, is now able to do a lot of damage here. Rascal going to be able to get out with a hook shot before Keria could get enough CC. Cloud Drake going to be available in a minute and a half. One thing that we didn't get to talk about was the fact that the second one for DRX was taken. So we might have maximum elemental dragons this game. Whoa!
All the Cloud Drakes. That is the Crown Drake Soul potentially coming in here.
Chovy has 6 items, PS. He's completed his Spellbinder.
Manage that?
Like, what? He's at 345 CS, and he's a gambler. And he's apparently...
That's why.
Being able to get a lot.
Yeah. He's winning some spins, apparently. And
he's been hiding some aces. That's what I think he's been doing.
That's the way of the TF. Even though the Ashe has the same amount of kills and more CS, she is behind on items here.
I mean, her items are more expensive as well. So, you know, Chovy went to the discount store to pick up a few of these.
And she's very close, too. Ruler will get there probably before this next team fight.
Yep. Not going to have a Void Staff is Chovy. Of course, does a lot of mixed damage, I guess, with the auto attacks that he does do. Plus, he's got a rapid fire cannon, but not exactly maximum damage potential, but he might just sell something and fire Rabadons, you know, Void Staff.
And BDD is just like really starved somehow.
Super anemic.
And he has Morellos, which, I mean...
You gotta cut that Rakan passive Gleaming Quill healing.
It's the W2?
Yeah, secondary safeguard.
When he's autoing...
Iron Will, I think is what that's called.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
A little bit of lifesteal probably in the runes of the sun.
Yep. Oh, actually, there is Ravenous Hunter and Taste the Blood as secondary runes for Doran.
Great.
So, gotta make sure that he's not healing too much.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't go Morellos, he would still have the penetration from the Oblivion Orb, of course, and then have 1,400 gold for something else, maybe a needlessly large rod. But instead, just going to have Grievous Wounds, so We'll see what he can do. I mean, his role, yes, the more damage, the better. But for Gen.G, he really needs to get a big ultimate off. As we're going to see the cooldown was 50 seconds. That's what Jonas Strong was trying to show us with the 3 Cloud Drakes. And
Chovy can be all over the map. And actually what they want to do is put their ultimates on cooldown just for as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Def may as well Featherstorm the lane just to maximize the amount of value out of these Cloud Drakes. This carrier, yeah, gets his bone plating taken away. Disaster. Otherwise, nothing too much going to happen. Back comes in. And that's another needlessly large rod for Doran. Why does he need that? He doesn't. Well, maybe maximizing the amount of AP for 1 item slot at this point in time, because we might be coming up.
Spellbinder.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's going for, right? Extra movement speed plus a proto belt. That's he's going to be a speed. That's quick attack being employed.
Yeah, and we haven't had. I mean, we had that one team fight, and the Baron happened, and then DRX took everything to the. You know, there was no pressure at all from the side of Gen.G afterwards.
Life, okay. Stands behind Clip.
He's all good.
Or beside Clip.
And, yeah. Just kind of just chilling. We're waiting for BDD to look for an opening.
Chovy, better press R again.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
He can.
Just R in
Maybe
behind
he
them
should.
and Sonya's.
Well, he has. He's listened.
He might do it. He's
This
going for
area
roller.
looking to try and get in. Grand entrance doesn't really land, but that's a great quickness. Emperor's Divide used on just Carrier as Chovy's going to go golden and the Azir is taken down. Now Rascal is QSS'd in the backline as Pioshik safeguards out of the way of the arrow. But both mid laners have been traded for, and now this is a do-si-do that could get real dicey for DRX, as now the ultimatum is laid. Slicing Maelstrom, though! Gigantic into the backline. The grand entrance is extraordinary. Rascal hook-shotting himself to attempted safety, but it's not enough. And DRX, I think, they've just done it again.
They have, and it's not the first time we've seen a top team just fight straight into a super fed cannon, and that is exactly what Gen.G did there at the end. They went for the 5v5, they got baited into it, and DRX were able to shut them down. Dorn had the perfect timing on that one, and they should be able to take this game.
Yeah, there's the kickback. Just for fun, onto Clid. They'll take the first Nexus turret. Def not really messing around until he's dealt with both of these Nexus turrets. Clid going to be destroyed. That's the ace delivered by Doran. Def goes golden in the end just to show off that he's still at his stopwatch. And DRX, that is 2 in a row for the summer split over Gen.G.
They did it. They took a big win up against Gen.G, who were a very tough opponent today. We talked about it, how either team could win, but Gen.G were just looking so strong up until the series, but DRX proving that they deserve their top spot, and they will retain it after this series. And there's not a lot of teams in the LCK that can beat DRX. Only KT can do it, apparently. Only KT have the ability.
With Smeb support. They need 2 top laners.
It's like the perfect concoction of alchemy to somehow make it happen.
Damn, that is some dark arts, I swear.
Yeah, I after that one, I'm kind of like, maybe I should vote for Doran, but I voted for Carrier. I mean, let's be real.
What the heck?
He won them that first team fight.
Oh, right.
But so important.
You've been getting the votes all wrong, so technically that means that it should go to Chovy, right?
Yeah, well, you found it out. Actually, I'm just a puppet for LS.
Yeah, perfect.
That's how it works.
It's reverse psychology, even though everybody votes independently.
Look at the hug on the Doran. CV Max is like, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And Clid got it. I mean, he hard carried game 2, played extraordinarily well. And unfortunately, I think BDD got tired by the end. Like, his Azir was not as impactful as we've seen so many times. I know, like, that sounds like we've got really high expectations, but we do. And we should, because BDD is so damn good. But these are the times where he has faltered, right? It's in the super high pressure moments. We saw it at the spring final, and we saw it here today. I mean, Chovy was still just having a great time, just happy feeding around, skill shots, just still trying to make those big plays. I mean, he messiahed into the backline of that last team fight and just threw his life away so that he could prepare for the most beautiful slicing Maelstrom in the universe. Emperor's Divide used on just a Rakan to stop him from CCing their entire team. And the front-to-back team fight was fought front-to-back and dismantled by a DRX that should not have had a comp that should have been able to do it.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, man. What I took away, and I'm sorry for interrupting again. I'm just really excited.
You got to rant it out. You got to get it out.
I've got to get it out. I've got to get it out. I just want to see this matchup again, over and over again. So if both of these teams aren't in the playoffs,
probably, right?
I hope so.
We're either gonna have this, or we're gonna have DRX Dom 1, Dom 1 Gen.G, T1 Gen.G. There's gonna be a lot of these matchups eventually. As I really wanted to look at that last team fights replay actually and really break it down, but seems like we're not gonna highlight that just yet. We're gonna go through the entire game. And we talked about how DRX had to be proactive, and we were really worried because it kind of went tit for tat in the beginning, right? There wasn't a lot of DRX domination, so we were like, oh, they didn't get very far ahead. But then there was really just one team fight. There wasn't a lot of action early on in the game, so it's just little pickoffs here and there like this. And then, well, wasn't here, but we had a big team fight around here that pretty much got DRX the foothold that they needed to get too far ahead. Here it is, Jovi's happy feet, dodges literally everything. I mean, nothing hits him.
That was so silly. Until he decides that he wants to be hit by
slow it down, slow it down. Look at the charm as he's coming in.
Oh my
And then knocks him up. And Deft is right there. Just eats him up, eats him for breakfast. Perfectly feather storms right when Rascal jumps onto him, and they're easily able to play front to back with a big ultimate from both Pyosik and Doran. They got too far ahead. This was a little bit of desperation from Ruler and Rascal, where Keria once again is going to shut him down. And that's why I voted for Keria.
I mean, Keria deserves it 100%. They're like, you'd be trolling if you voted for Chovy, but I think LCK would have done it.
Doran, I think, would be the other guy.
go.
True, because he really had a couple of excellently timed team fights. So look at this. He targets BDD, not actually Ruler. He's like, no, we got to shut down BDD. And the team fighting of Azir is totally taken out. And even though here it looks like it's very broken up.
I mean, this was really dangerous for DRX, right? Like, yes, they don't have BDD, but this is Gen.G. They still have so much CC, but without all of their ultimates, and with the timing out of Doran, like, Toby, God.
Toby's the only person talking. He's like, go. We can end it, we can end it. Ranting himself. It's like, we can do this, just kill the turrets, don't worry about the enemy, we can just chew through the turrets. It's like, it's over. Toby's like, oh.
But you can see how much of it means to them, right? Like, look at their faces. They're like, oh my god, we have to win right now.
Big nices coming in. Thank God, says Pyosik, because he does after every win.
Yep.
And,
but I mean, that one, well deserved. As oh my god, Doran's damage was nutty. That last ultimate in that last team was amazing.
It was broken up. They killed the mid laners, and then DRX came back together again, and we saw the difference between Kennen and Camille in team fights. Camille got in there, got the ult off, and then died immediately. And then Doran just ults 4 of them and sweeps them all into the garbage like it's nothing, right? And that's the difference. That's why we were talking about how Camille had to focus on split pushing. And, I mean, that Kennen was just so unbelievably fed. Like, he had the most AP possible, I think.
I mean, that was actually, like, the highest. If he had have not built Proto Belt first item, which is more of a bridging item.
Yeah.
But then he built into the most damage possible.
He had Spellbinder 2 by the end of it. And Doran is going to get it. I was worried about this, but I think that because of the timing of his ultimates, I'm not too sad about the fact that Keria didn't pick it up.
Certainly more flashy, but this is the Keria highlight.
Yeah. So notice that, look at Doran, okay? We talked a lot about Keria. He waits until they all group up, and then he gets the perfect ultimate, right? So here it's like, okay, can't blame him for voting for Doran either. And then,
oh, definitely.
There's so much of this team. There's like 30 seconds of this team fight before that he could have used the ultimate, but he waits until right here when all 4 of them are built up, and it's the perfect timing. And that's what allows them to sweep the team fight so one-sidedly.
And we talk about, like, using Kennen for peel. In that exact moment, he used Slicing Maelstrom for peel onto Deft, as well as killing the entire backline of Gen.G. So, I mean, that's an all-in-one teamfight tool right there. Like, he made that. He is a teamfight comp in one champion.
Yeah, Gen.G, I think they struggled after they lost the Baron to really play their game of split push, and DRX just took it to them and started that fight, that last fight, and Gen.G had to respond, and that's exactly, again, where DRX's comp was strong. As it was 5 out of 12, 4 voted for mid, and 3 voted for support, which that's interesting that Toby got 3 votes.
Could have been the swingers. Let's throw it to G-Sun for these.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's hear from Chobi Doran taking down Gen.G in the second round robin. Congratulations on the win. It was the most hyped series of the week, and we had a very entertaining series. How did the players feel about the series today? As a player, it was a very difficult one. We had to really always figure out how to play the next performance. What about you, Doran? It was a very important series, and I wanted to win. I thought we almost lost it, but it's a big relief that we secured the win in the end. Game number 1, we saw 5 ban cards over to the mid lane, targeting you, Chobi. Well, because I have a wide champion pool, I wasn't really aware that 5 of the mid lane cards were banned out. That was a really low-key flex coming out from Toby. And we saw Galio versus Zoe matchup, and what's your thought on that matchup? In Zoe versus Galio matchup, I think Galio has more things to do. Well, if he takes the poke out of Zoe in the later phase of the game, at like 30-40 minute mark of the game, well, the only damage that actually affects Galio is only the Zoe Q, so I think he can do a lot more contribution to his team. For the top laner, what do you prefer? Galio supporting or Zoe giving a lot of lane priority? Camille ult with you, Galio ult, is it like a perfect combo? So I prefer Galio.
저는 초비 선수한테 이제
I have a question over to Chobi about game number 2. This time around, you took face rush on set. Sometimes you take quick footwork, and this time around, Gen.G had a lot of CCs. So what was the reason for your rune choice? Well, if you have split footwork and tenacity, you have a high immune to CCs. But this time around, Gen.G, they had a lot of slow based on their comp. So I aimed for walking out faster with the face rush proc. Let's go back to game number 1. The game-ending 4-man taunt of Galio was the highlight.
솔직히 여기서 이즈리얼이 엉덩이 차였을 때
When Ezreal got kicked in this fight, didn't the player think that the fight was already over? I was looking for the angle where Gen.G players couldn't see me.
저 이때 진짜 절대로 못 이길 거라 생각했는데
Pon also thought that that was never a winnable fight for DRX, but Chobi managed to pull it off. And I saw you being really quiet, pulling off that play. Well, I mean, there was no time to talk because I was looking for the perfect angle. I cannot really tell my teammates that I'm going in because, I mean, that was such a tight moment for me.
제 하이라이트 영상이었던 것 같아요.
Definitely, that was the highlight moment for today. And
만날 때마다
as a mid laner, well, Chobi, BDD, Showmaker, those are all just like premier mid laners in LCK. Chobi, what's your strength amongst the other top mid laners in the LCK? I am not sure.
이것만큼은 강점 있는 것보다 다른
Nothing
성강
like
리드보다
there's not a specific thing that stands out. I have this desire that I want to excel in every department.
1위예요. 앞서고 있는 게 맞습니다 지금.
Well, I mean, you are the mid laner of the #1 team with such a great stats. So I want to also ask you about the feedback after game number 2.
조합인데 이제 카밀 대표로 사이드 운영을 굴려서
Well,
너무 게임이
they did
힘들어서
have a CC comp, but in addition to that, the side lane composition was also really hard to deal with.
네, 2세트 끝나고 나서 3세트 준비하면서.
What about you, Doran? How did you prepare for the game number 3? Camille, Twisted Fate, that was so difficult to deal with.
상대하는 입장에서 진짜 힘들거든요.
네, 그렇습니다. DRX는 현재 1위 팀인데요.
DRX, you are still on
약간 하위권입니다.
the #1 spot in the LCK, but your stats with your early game doesn't really stand out, especially about the early objectives.
전략이에요. 그게 제일
Is that your
궁금해요.
strategy?
욕심은 있는데
I mean, we want to get the early objectives, but
욕심이 없진 않은데
we just cannot.
저희도 잘 챙겨
We're trying.
상황 따라 그냥 맞춰서 그렇게 돼. 그러면 좀 그 굉장히 이색적이었던 장면이 3세트 같은 경우가
And we had a
거의
very
대놓고
impressive
초반에 용을
moment in game
막
number 3.
주고 그다음에
You guys were not contesting for the Dragon from the beginning of the game number 3, but and then you got all the dragons in the later phase of the game.
알겠습니다.
Was that the intention?
너무 좋네요.
맞습니다.
No, that was
도란
actually
선수한테
just like based on the given situation.
예, 1, 2경기 모두 카밀이 승리를 했잖아요. 근데
도란.
3경기에서 라스칼 선수가
Both
또
game
카밀을
number
했고
1 and 2, Camille
좀 이런
got a
결승전 같은
win.
그런 느낌의
And then
무대는
Rascal
좀 그런 픽이 있는데
went back to Camille. And sometimes in a very important series like grand finals, there is this pick that guarantees you a win. So were you confident facing up against his Camille?
그 카밀이 약간 투페랑 갈리오랑 다 시너지가
Camille has a really great synergy with Twisted Fate and Galio, but in game number 3, those parts were missing.
라인전은 편하게
So I had a very comfortable laning phase.
네, 키를 만들어내기도 했었고 그런 시너지가 나온 것 같습니다.
네, 그렇습니다. 다음 경기 또 3강 팀입니다.
Your next match will be up against another top contender, Damwon Gaming.
전략을 생각하고 계신지
Chobi, what's your plan going into Showmaker?
제 생각에 쇼메이커 선수 상대로 전략을 짜봤자 어차피
Well,
잘 안 통할 것 같고
Even if I bring a plan to face up against Showmaker, I believe that won't work, so I have to focus on the performance and mechanics.
너구리 선수 만나시게 될 텐데
Doran, what about you?
어떤 각오가 있을까요?
What's your plan in taking on
너구리
Nuguri?
선수 너무 무섭긴 한데
Nuguri is super scary,
잘하면 이기지 않을까
but
싶습니다.
maybe we'll win if I
그러면
play well.
마지막으로 팬분들께 한마디 듣고
Wrapping up, what's your
초비 선수 먼저 한마디
last
해주세요.
message over to the fans?
오늘 경기한 거 이제 아쉬웠던 점을 많이
Well,
보완해서
based on today's performance, we will work on our mistakes and we will do our best to show improved performance in the Damwon series.
오늘 이겨서 너무 좋고
I'm happy that we won today,
경기 잘 준비해서
and we will do our best to
이기면
prepare
더
for the Damwon
좋습니다.
series, and
네,
it will
오늘
be
경기
even
정말
better
많은 팬분들이
to get
진짜
another
재밌게
win
보셨을
up
것
against
같은데요.
Damwon Gaming.
담원전도 저희가 기대해 보도록
Wish you the
하겠습니다.
best of
인터뷰
luck in your
감사합니다.
coming series, and this will be the end of the
네,
interview with
축하드립니다.
Chobi Doran from DRX.
네, 그러면 순위에는 또 어떤 변동이 있는지
Now it's time to check
지금
out the
알아보도록 하겠습니다.
updated standings in the LCK.
Thank you very much, Ji-san, for the interview translation. Adorable to hear how scared Doran is facing Nuguri as per usual. But DRX are going to retain their first place position, knock Gen.G down yet another peg. And still, it's just that one pesky Smeb support game that is keeping DRX from a perfect match record for this season. And that was 5 matches ago, so they've obviously forgotten about it. This team just somehow wins and wins and wins and wins. Even though there were moments where, you know, especially game 2, Gen.G just looked like a better team.
Yeah.
There were times where Gen.G just looked better. But the results, both times, they weren't better.
That's what happens when two top teams that are really evenly matched end up butting heads. I think there are certain worlds where Gen.G could have won that game 3, and game 1 was kind of just like the Chovy effect, right? It's pretty insane what that one player is able to do, and maybe that's kind of what DRX have over Gen.G. It's that special player effect that pops out under so much pressure and is able to make the big play when it really counts. As you mentioned, I mean, BDD was pretty much invisible in game number 3, so a little bit worrying for Gen.G fans for sure.
Certainly is, but we've got more matches coming up tomorrow. I'm going to go downstairs, have a quick nap, and then I guess we'll be back because it's been a really long night. We'll see you tomorrow.
I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my hero. I'll be for everything you've done. You'll always be my hero. Faith in you like the rising sun. I feel so strong, I feel the freedom to be who I can be. You'll always be my hero. You give me everything I need. Everything I need. You have faith in me. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd